Hi, my name is Cass, and I'm a junior at UVA, majoring in environmental sciences. Today, I will be interviewing Kalon Partridge. Kalon is the Learning and Development Manager at Intermountain Wood Products. Kalon is also a member of NBMDA, which stands for North American Building Material Distribution Association. NBMDA is a trade association representing the leading wholesale distributors of specialty building materials for interiors, including wood panels, surfacing materials, cabinet hardware, finishes, and related woodworking production supplies. Hello, Kalon. How are you today?
I'm doing well, Cass. Thanks.
Awesome. So if we're just going to get started, number one, could you describe what your typical workday entails and what your first few years in this career were like?
Yeah, absolutely. I guess let me start by just saying I appreciate the opportunity to share with those of you who might be listening or participate in this. I think that we have a great industry, so I love the opportunity to share that with young folks. We're not in a very visible industry. So I guess to talk about the first few years of my career, I got into building because I worked in construction with my dad growing up, and then so I kind of had that interest, but I went to school for finance, and I started my career in the industry kind of at the bottom, learning the ropes from the bottom up. And even with the company I'm at now, even though I had a bachelor's degree, I started as a warehouseman, driving forklift and driving trucks. And then I worked up through sales and management, and that gave me some great background knowledge of the industry and of the company, and gave me the basis for which I can now do my current role, which right now my current role is kind of a mixture of hiring director and learning and development. So day to day, I spend about half of my time in hiring activities, so recruiting, interviewing, things like that. And then the other half of my time is developing training for our over 200 employees.
Awesome. Well, okay, for number two, what high school courses or college courses have you found most applicable or important for your occupation, and which would you wish you had taken?
Okay. Well, the courses, I was a business major, so business finance, and those are the courses that I have found to be the most useful, just general business knowledge, an understanding of business principles, how businesses work, and the financial reports. Having that understanding has really helped me in management and in leadership. Just in general, also when I was in the lower positions as what we call a service associate, it helped me understand the expense side and how I contributed to the bottom line, even as just a normal employee that just had, small stewardship over my forklift or whatever. So
yeah, everyone I've talked to has said business is a very good investment when you're in college and such.
Yeah, I mean, it applies to almost any job that you can get, so that's good.
Yeah, awesome. So since you said you're doing hiring, what part-time jobs, apprenticeships, internships, or extracurricular activities would best prepare you for the occupation? And when you apply to these jobs, do they look at your previous experience with these sorts of things, or which would make you the best candidate?
Okay. Yeah, so as a recruiter for our company, I can tell you that the type of experience we look for with someone coming out of high school or college is just some real world hard work ethic, something that shows that you've been motivated, that you're self-motivated, that you take initiative on your own, and not only get education but get real hands-on experience. on a resume, one thing, the way that looks a lot of times is that you stick with a job for longer periods if you can. I know as a student that might be difficult, but at least have good reasons why you've left.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's because you moved to go to school or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And you've maintained good relationships with previous employers so that when we call them to get a reference, they're good references for you. But also, it's great if you've been in the workforce for a few years. What I'd really like to see is when an applicant has worked up through multiple positions. So that shows me their previous employer valued them and valued and that they were able to progress.
Mm-hmm.
Tells me a lot about an individual who's, even if they started in a lower position, they worked up. So
awesome. If you don't mind me asking, do you have any like specific like organizations you like to see, like Habitat for Humanity, or those kinds of like hands-on people, or just sort of like anything people come across?
Well, with our industry, since we're in building supply, anything related to the building industry or construction trades is great experience. It's directly applicable. Habitat for Humanity is a good one because of that. In terms of a volunteer organization. But even if it's outside of the construction trades, just something that shows me you're not afraid of hard work.
Yeah, so. Awesome. Okay, so moving on to talking about NBMDA.
Yeah.
So what are the benefits of being a member of your association?
I think the main benefits are the connections that you can make, of course, the educational opportunities that they have, but just the networking with other individuals within the industry. And I use it as a resource as well, just for industry knowledge and for economic information as well.
Yeah, awesome.
So I personally have not gone to any of they do the fairs on an annual basis. So I personally haven't gone to them, but I still use their website as a resource, and I stay in contact with several individuals from the organization. So
awesome. So number 5 are related. Can you tell me about the networking and educational opportunities offered by your association?
Okay. Yeah, so the education, what I know that they offer a lot of paid classes. You can go like to their annual convention, and there's a lot of educational opportunities there. I have yet to do that, and I hope to at some point. I know they partner with a couple of universities as well for courses, but I've used personally a lot of their free educational opportunities online. They have a lot of industry and economic information that I draw from for the most part. So, and also as a company, we've participated in their annual compensation survey, which has really been of benefit to see where we're at compared to our peers in terms of compensation and benefits. Make sure we're competing in the marketplace. So.
Awesome. Really cool. So number 6, what do you find most surprising about this career?
I think what surprises me is how fulfilling it can be and how much I can contribute. Before getting into this career in the industry, when I was going to school, I had this kind of what I'd call a romanticized idea of what the ideal industry would be to work in. And it's usually the bigger, well-known industries that are kind of viewed as the sexy industries, technology, healthcare, finance, banking. Those are kind of more visible. And so what I've learned, though, is that this industry is a much smaller pond
Mm-hmm.
And that's enabled me to be a big fish in this pond, because there's an aging workforce in the building industry.
Mm-hmm.
There aren't a lot of new, younger millennials or X-Geners coming in.
Mm-hmm.
And so those who do come in, they typically have maybe a little bit more education or experience with technology. And I've been able to bring a lot of value to the company because of that experience. And it's made me a bit of a shooting star in some ways. And so I feel like I can contribute a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if I would have gone to one of those other industries, I would have just been a small fish in a big pond,
Mm-hmm.
just a number. And I have many friends that end up feeling like they're just in a dead end position because that's their situation. And so that's been surprising for me, and I wouldn't change anything about that.
That's awesome. So before we end, number 7, is there anything else you'd like to add or you think would be helpful to someone who's considering this occupation?
Yeah, I guess one thing I'd like to add is don't be afraid to put in some physical hard work.
Mm-hmm.
I think growing up, you might have been told that you need to work smarter, not harder, which is true in a lot of ways, but in other ways, you develop other character traits and hard work ethic when you go out and, I don't know, even if you're mowing lawns or
Mm-hmm.
if you're working in some of these other entry-level jobs, there's nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
And you can use that as a resume builder,
Mm-hmm.
which will show future employers that not only are you smart and can work smart, but you can work hard as well. And that'll make you rise above your peers, I think, in this environment.
Yeah, I totally agree.
So,
Well, yes. Well, thank you for your time.
yeah, you're welcome.